Welcome to the Encouragement for Real Life podcast. I'm Julie Lefebvre, your host. Life is remarkable, sometimes raw and always real. And some days we could use a little extra encouragement for our real lives. Here you'll find that, along with personal life-impacting stories, helpful life hacks, timely inspiration, biblical insight, and a fresh perspective. The Encouragement for Real Life podcast equips you to be a light in this world and to shine bright wherever God has you. I'm glad you're here today. Welcome back to the Encouragement for Real Life podcast. I'm Julie Lefebvre, and I am so glad to be here with you today. Thank you for joining me. And I think you're going to be very glad that you're here too. It is our guest episode for the month, and every last Tuesday of the month, I invite someone on the podcast to be my guest. And this year, I'm inviting people who have greatly impacted my life, and my guest today is certainly one of those people. Libby Conder is not only my friend, we've been friends for 5 years, over 5 years. We met through a prayer group that I meet with on Monday mornings. There's 5 of us, and we meet bright and early on Zoom. And I met Libby there. She's not only my friend, but she is a woman who is a beautiful example to follow in how she just loves the Lord and serves Him. And so I am glad for you to meet her today, and you are going to be doubly blessed, I believe, because you're going to hear from Libby here in just a minute. But Libby is a wife, she's a mom, she's a career coach, which she's so wise, and she is a woman who is embracing change, and I love learning from her in that area. And she has a beautiful faith in Jesus, which, like I said, it's just a beautiful example of just how she lives out her faith. And I believe that her words will encourage, her words will encourage your heart today. So if you're ready for some hope and encouragement and some just a wonderful perspective on life, let's get into this episode. Well, Libby, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so glad you're here. Welcome to the Encouragement for Real Life podcast.
Julie, I have been looking forward to being on your show for some time, and thank you for asking me. It's going to be an honor to be here.
Well, we have had a lot of history together, and I just have to say I am so grateful that we have been in the same prayer group for 5 years, and that's really how we got to know each other, right? We didn't know each other before the prayer group, right?
We did not, and I live in
Yeah.
North Carolina, and you live in
Yeah.
Iowa.
Yeah. Yeah.
So,
Yeah. So I love how the internet connects us all across the miles. But
yes.
all year long, I am having people on my podcast who have impacted my life. And Libby, you definitely are one of these people. Your prayers every week, your presence every week, your steadfastness of just being a friend across the miles. I am so very grateful for you. And so I wanted to honor you as well by bringing you on, asking you to come on. And also, you have such wisdom and knowledge, and your faith life is very strong. I knew that your words would encourage other women too. So thank you for who you are, and I'm just so glad you're here today.
Oh, thank you. You're such an encourager, Julie. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, you're welcome. Well, let's just chat here today. What I would love to know. Well, first of all, maybe there's someone that doesn't know who Libby Conder is, and so can you just introduce yourself? Tell us a little bit about you, and just maybe what's going on in your life lately.
Well, I am a wife, a mother of 2 adult, smart, beautiful girls. And I've been living in North Carolina for about 40 years. I'm originally from South Carolina. And I have my own business. I'm a career coach, and I help people who are ready to go back to work or advance in their careers. So that keeps me busy during the day, and the children and my adult children keep me busy the rest of the time. So I'm very involved locally in my church, and I have a nonprofit background that I dabble and do some volunteer work when I can in the nonprofits in the area as well.
That's fantastic. So, thinking about that, you said a career coach and nonprofit experience and a family. What is God teaching you through all of this these days? I know last week you had a very full week, and so
Did have a full week. Yes. God is teaching me change. I am in the moment of change in my life. Um, I have a kid my youngest child is a senior in college, and I'm not sure what she's going to do after this year. I assume she's not going to be in my home anymore, and I'm still holding space for her. Um, but then I have an older child who will probably be with us for a while. And my husband is looking at retirement, and I'm looking at expanding my business and my volunteer work. So change is something that God is bringing towards me. And it's interesting because I haven't always embraced change. I like things to be settled. I like things to be consistent. Um, but I am running towards change right now because I'm loving the opportunity to change, to grow, because growth does bring change every time.
yeah, you're right, aren't you? Yeah, you're right. Those of us, and who doesn't experience change,
Exactly.
right? Yeah.
Exactly.
So speak on that a little more, if you would. How do you think that you've embraced change instead of ran from it like you've done in the past?
In the
Or what
past, I
is,
like,
go ahead.
yeah, well, in the past, I wanted everything to be the same, and I wanted to be able to go back in time and touch the milestones that I had for my parents didn't need to change. My family didn't need to change. My high school that I went to didn't need to change. I need to be able to go back. But over the years, God has brought me out of my shell. He moved me to Charlotte, and I had a 5-year plan to return to South Carolina. I've never returned. It's been 40 years. Instead, I married and had children, and we've established a family, our life here and family. And even though I do spend a lot of time, as much as I can, with family in South Carolina, um, usually it's more by phone calls now than in person. But uh, it has been a slow process to get me out of my shell. But now I feel like a butterfly. My caterpillar days are over, and I'm flying into a new year, a new future. And I think the women in their 50s, 60s, and 70s do more than women in their 20s and 30s and 40s even. So I'm looking forward to the second phase of my life. It's only the second phase.
Yeah. Yeah. I
So
love
I'm
that you
looking,
said that you're done with the caterpillar stage and you're now a butterfly. I love that.
yeah. I've always said my husband has been the keeper of the string. I've been the kite flying overhead, and he holds the string for me, keeps me grounded. But he's very good at letting me fly and doing what I want to do and experiencing things. So that's been a it's been really good for my career. It's been really good for my with our family dynamic. So he's very stable, and I like that. And as we're getting older, we're enjoying the changes, and we're traveling more, we're doing more, and we love it. So it's always
That's
fun.
wonderful. Yeah. Wow. I love that. I love just seeing all the little word pictures you just shared there. The kite and the string and yeah, the caterpillar and the butterfly. I'm just that's wonderful. And I think we can all relate to that. And I think there's women too in our lives and even women that we work with, women in our families that they feel like they are that maybe that caterpillar stage. They're not a butterfly stage yet. And
Yeah.
your words can sure encourage them. So thank you for sharing that.
I work with a lot of women who are caught in the caterpillar stage. They want to expand, but they're afraid of the change. So, and I have learned that change is not the worst thing in the world. There's some pains with change, but change always brings joy for me.
How do you help a woman? I know this, just I'm throwing this out at you here, but how do you help someone who is so fearful of change? What do you suggest, or what do you say to her to kind of help her get
Well,
over that?
one of the things I do is I go, okay, what's working in your life today versus what could be working tomorrow? Because we're afraid we're going to give up something usually when change. We're afraid
Mm.
that all the good's going to go away and then we're only going to get the bad. Because during the change, when you're going from the caterpillar to the butterfly, it's a little painful because things have to fall off and you have to stretch those wings and get all the blood flowing before you can flap those wings into the butterfly. So they're very fearful of what they might lose, but in reality, they're gaining so much. So we walk through that path of this is change. This is slow steps. You don't have to make it all at once. You can do a slow, consistent change. And that's how I approach it. And sometimes in careers, people lose jobs, and that's painful, but it also opens doors to new possibilities. They just have to find the door, knock on it, and walk through.
Yeah, that's true.
Mhm.
Yeah. Gosh, thank you for all of that. Yeah. Uh, I would love to know, is there a specific women's need that God is calling you to fulfill, maybe in your role as a career coach or something else in your life?
You know, women have been in the workforce. We have this fallacy that women have not been in the workforce for years, but we have been. It started off many, many years ago. Most women had cottage industries. They baked breads and sold it, or they raised extra corn and sold it, and maybe they cleaned house. The only change different today is we're actually getting back to that. Most people went through the workforce. Women were forced into more jobs in the 40s and 50s, and we stayed. And I know women get a lot of flack for not working, not being in the home with small children sometimes. Sometimes it's just not a possibility. And for women who are doing that, I applaud you and I am excited about it. But women hundreds of years ago raised their children while they were out plowing the field and raising crops, and the children learned by doing. So I think women today are in the workforce. They need support. They need help because we're not trained how to advance in our careers. It's not a class in high school. It's not a class in college. It's not a class in your master's program. It is a on-the-job training, and every company's a little different. So what I like to do is come alongside women who are struggling to find their next direction, their next path. Do they want to change careers? Do they want to go back to school? Is that a good time to go now? Are they ready to advance to leadership? And walk beside them and help point out the pitfalls and help them find the right path for them. And I see that more and more every day. That women are coming to me and they just need somebody to walk the path with them and help them set up the which way to go and how. Let me rephrase that. Women need help walking the path so that they can know which door to go into and someone else to see some of the pitfalls that lie ahead that they may not see.
Yeah. Yeah. Someone who's been there and who it's good to have someone like that, like yourself, who's experienced those type of things and can help others through it as well.
Yes.
Yeah. And I also see you as like a springboard. You help women to, maybe, of course, we just talked about that, release the fear and try something new, but also to say, have someone in their corner to say, you can do this. Because I think we don't have that as women very much. A lot of women don't have that support behind them, like you said.
Oh, I agree. And a lot of women don't understand what the other woman is doing. We may be friends socially. Our kids may play soccer together. Um, we may attend the same church or social events, but we don't live in the same circle. So we're not able to support each other as well as we could if we were in the same industry. But then in the same industry, there's a lot of jealousy and fear. If you get a promotion, then it means I don't get a promotion. So we don't have that support. And I like to come behind women and support them and hold their hands up and go, you can do this.
Yeah. Yeah. That's wonderful. I wish I would have had someone like you, when I was venturing out and trying to figure out, I was really career, I guess, confused. I didn't know what I wanted to do, when I grew up type of thing. And, but it's not even just for women just starting out in their careers, is it, that you help? It's women of all ages, right?
Oh, true. And I've
Yeah.
worked with many women who are ready to go. They've got the job. They love it. They're ready to go to the next level. They're ready to go into management because they know
Yeah.
they can teach the generation of workers coming behind them, and they're ready for that.
Yeah.
And sometimes
Yeah.
as women who are, I've been in a career so long, I'm ready to spread my wings and try something different. And I
Yeah.
work with those as well.
Sure. And I think about the woman who maybe their her child is starting school this year or starting
Mhm.
college, and they've been home, and now they are looking, what am I going to do now? You would be the perfect person to come alongside and say, let's explore some opportunities, or
I
right?
had a
I think you
conver-
would just be perfect at that.
I had a conversation with a lady this week who had small children starting school, and she'd been a stay-at-home mom for the past 5 or 6 years, and she wanted to bring some income in, and she had
Oh,
no clue. She had 2 degrees and had no clue what she should do. And we were able
wow.
to talk, and I gave her some ideas, and she's like, "Oh, I never thought of that." So um,
Yeah.
it was really good for me because it's like you see that light bulb come on. It's
Yeah.
encouraging to me to know that I can help someone like that.
Yeah. Sometimes that's all we need is just someone to say one word or a sentence or a suggestion, and the
Yes.
light bulb does come on. Yeah. So if you're listening today and you're thinking, what's my next step in a career? Well, we'll share Libby's information at the end so you can get in touch with her. But thank you for sharing all that, Libby. I just think that you offer such a wealth of resources and wisdom to help us take the next step in our careers. So thank you. I'm so glad you do what you do.
Thank you. I
Yes.
love it. I love it.
I yeah. Yeah, you can tell that you're good at it. This month on the podcast, we've been talking about I guess it's been kind of a theme on the podcast this month about not missing the life that God has for us. And so what helps you stay present in your everyday life instead of just running from one responsibility to the next? Because you have a lot going on. How do you do that?
I am a relational person. I have to have relationships, and they have to be deep relationships. I have a core group of friends. Um, a little secret, you're not the only group I pray with in a week's time.
That's good.
Yeah. I have another group that I usually meet with on Thursday morning. Um, and we have been friends for years. Two of the ladies, there's four of us in the group. Two of the ladies we have been friends for since I moved to Charlotte 40 years ago. Um, and the other girl is a new person, but we have, just like our group, we have developed a quick um, friendship and an intimacy. And I need that. I need people that I can share with, and I need people that will listen to me, and I can listen to them. And building those relationships help keep me grounded, but also give me adventure in places that my husband and I take trips together, that we can do things that will expand our time together. And we just enjoy being outside and enjoy just all the good things that God's given us. So for me, not being sedentary, not doing the same old, and I love to learn. So in this last year, I've taught myself a lot of different programs that I didn't know, and some of them have been very interesting and a struggle. But I have mastered, well, not mastered, but I have tackled them and been successful. So that's I'm good with. So
Yeah.
I'm excited about what lies ahead for me.
Yeah. Yeah. You're not missing the life God is giving you.
No, I'm
Yeah.
holding on to it.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're sharing it with others, which I
I
love that.
am. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
We everywhere we go, my husband and I share. We're involved locally in the church, and both my children are in church. And we when we travel, we always spend time with other people of faith. And I like to spend time with people who are not of faith because I like to get their perspectives.
Yeah.
Um, so we're not limited to who we associate with. We have a broad swath. Unfortunately, Christians sometimes limit themselves, and we don't do that. So, and God is blessing us because of that.
Yeah. That's wonderful. And your daughters are watching, taking
Yes,
it
they
all
are.
in.
They are.
Mm-hmm.
When
Yeah.
you don't think they're watching, they're watching.
Yeah. Isn't that true? We
Yes.
sometimes forget that they are watching.
Yes.
Yeah. That's for sure. And thinking about, the life that God has given us, and, in John 10:10, it says that, that Jesus says he came to give us, the thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy, but I have come to give life and life with abundance. What does that abundance look like for you? What does an abundant life look in your world, in your life? What is that?
I think abundance is relationships. They make life more fun and more exciting. Um,
Mhm.
we all live in a world where finances are important, but they are not the most important thing. Relationships, spending time with people you love, having a passion for something that you enjoy doing, um, and just I love nature. I love being outside. So those living in the South, it's beautiful, trees and grass and water. We have all of that usually, other than the drought this year. But we have abundance of nature opportunities too. So God has been gracious to us with friendships and with relationships, and just abundant in our relationships with us, with Him, and with each other.
Well, and what do you do to grow that relationship with the Lord? What do you do?
For
Anything
me, it
specific?
is being in His Word consistently. I'm right now. I'm reading through Proverbs, which I've read many times, but I love the Book of Wisdom.
Mhm.
We are very involved in our church locally in Bible studies as well as in consistent services, Sunday morning services when we can. And even when we're out of town, we usually attend church somewhere. And we establish relationships in different churches wherever we travel. We make friends and always go back to them. So
Yeah, that's wonderful. That's fantastic. Yeah, I love to hear what abundance means to you. So thanks for sharing that.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would love to know if you could go back and say something to your younger self, to that younger Libby Conder. If you could go, your name probably wasn't Conder way back when, of course, but once you got married, of course. But anyway, um, if you could go back to speaking life into the younger Libby Conder, and to encourage her heart, I would love to know, what would you say to her?
I would say, don't be afraid, because I was very afraid. Don't be afraid.
Were you?
I was very afraid as a child, as a young woman. When I moved to Charlotte, I had a 5-year plan because I was only going to be here for 5 years and move back because this was a scary place. It's been a long time now.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a roommate at the time she and I are still friends, and she said, I kept waiting for that 5-year plan. Um, don't be afraid. God will open doors. God will provide, and you will build a life. And that was something that I was afraid that I wouldn't have a life.
Oh,
And
wow.
I forced myself at the time because it wasn't in my nature to venture out. And I forced myself to venture out, and I found out that I loved the city. I grew up in a very rural area. I love the city. I love the people. I like the diversity. And I would tell my younger self, just tip your toe in the water and go. The more you go, the more
Mm.
you'll like it.
Wow. Yeah. So what kept you there after the 5 years? Do you
Relationships.
know? Okay.
Relationships. I built relationships with people. I even stayed here. The company I worked with had a reduction in force, and they reorganized, and I lost my job. But I had relationships, and I stayed in Charlotte, and I found a new job, and I continued to live here. And it was probably 10 years later before I met my husband. So it was just the circle. Had I moved back, I never would have met him because he's never left the area. And it was just God's timing, God's perfect
Yeah.
timing for my life.
Wow. I love hearing that. Seeing God's presence in all those circumstances. Wow.
His hand was there. I didn't see it at the time, but looking
Yeah.
back, I do see it.
Yeah. Wow. God has certainly blessed you for sure.
He has. He
Mhm.
has.
But yet your life isn't perfect, right? Your life's
By
not
no means.
perfect.
By no means.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, Life has never been perfect for me, but I approach it with hopefully grace and God's blessing. I know that whatever is ahead, I'm not leaving anything behind me that can't be restored.
Yeah. Such wisdom. Thanks for sharing that.
Mm.
Yeah. I often talk on the podcast here in various episodes that I would love to just sit across from the table from the one who's listening, and uh, I wish we could do that. I wish we could just transport ourselves into each other's living rooms and things like that. But if you were sitting across the table from the woman listening or watching right now, what was one thing that you could encourage her with? What's something that you would love to tell her today?
I would tell her that in my experience, life is an adventure. There are downfalls, there are pitfalls, but on the other side, around the bend, there's always something exciting. Whether it's a career, whether it's family, whether it's broken relationship, there's always something worth striving for and going to encourage them to do. Don't give up. Don't sit at home in front of the TV eating chips. Go out and enjoy life. Try something new every week, just one thing, and do it by yourself the first time. Because if you can do it by yourself, you can do it with friends. And it's a great way to meet people.
Yeah. Yeah. That's great. And I love that. I don't like doing things by myself, like new things. So that really spoke to me today. So thank you for sharing that.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It builds stamina within you.
Yeah.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah. And look at you, you're a prime example of that. You had your 5-year plan and you're still there today.
I'm still here.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, I love that. I am so grateful we've had this time together, Libby. Is there anything else that you just feel on your heart that you want to share before we close out today?
I would tell the listener, the woman sitting there
Yeah.
listening to this, that it doesn't matter what's going on in your life today. It's like a river, you won't be there tomorrow. Water moves, life moves, and things will change. And hang on to knowing that change is positive. There are some negatives, but change is positive. And I would encourage you to hold on to the hand of the Savior because He is the one who ultimately will lead us through the deepest parts of the water.
Yeah. Amen to that. Amen to that. Thank you so much, Libby. If someone wanted to get a hold of you and just check out what you offer or just talk to you or whatever, how would they go about doing that?
They can reach out to me by my email. It's libby@condercoaching.com. Send me an email, and I'll be glad to chat with you, and we can set up an opportunity to meet by Zoom or over the phone.
Yeah. Okay. And I'll link that in the show notes so that way it'll be easy to access.
Okay.
And thank you so much for joining me here today. It is such a joy to not only see you every Monday morning on our prayer Zoom call, but to do this today. This has been a lot of fun.
Thank you, Julie. I've loved every moment of it.
All right, we'll see you next time. Wasn't that wonderful? My goodness. Libby has a beautiful perspective on life. I love how she shared the example of the caterpillar, and she's done with the caterpillar days, and now she's a butterfly. I love that. That really spoke to me. It really spoke to my heart that I don't always need to be a caterpillar, but the caterpillar stage is important. She didn't say that, but I'm just adding that in. But it's time to be a butterfly, and maybe it's time for you to be a butterfly too. We have lots of butterflies right now in our flower garden and in our garden, and some of them are beautiful monarchs, and some of them aren't as beautiful, but they're to me they're all beautiful. But so I should say some are less colorful. But that just really spoke to me as I see those butterflies now in my garden these days. And so I want to know what encouraged you. What will you apply to your life from Libby's words and her wisdom and her faith that she just so beautifully showed us? I invite you to get in touch with Libby through the link in the show notes, that you could have a good conversation with her, get to know her, and that she would be able to just maybe even point you in the right direction, maybe that you are seeking for your life and how to be that butterfly. So make sure you check that out in the show notes. And I just really want to thank Libby again for joining us here today, because it was just a very impactful conversation for me, and I assume it was for you too. But before we close down today, I just want to remind you that we are in the final week of founding member enrollment for my new mentoring group called Abundant Life Together. If you've been listening to the podcast and thinking, I wish I had a place to go deeper with some of these things in my life, well, that's exactly why I created Abundant Life Together. It's a place for Christian women who want to live the abundant life that Jesus came to give us. Not a someday kind of life, but right here in our everyday, normal Tuesday, whatever kind of day it is, lives that we are already living. We will learn together, grow together, encourage one another, and all of that. Plus, we'll have a place to keep putting into practice what God is teaching us. And you're going to get something in your mailbox from me every month. So I would love for you I would just love for you to be a part of it. I would love for you to just experience what this group is going to be all about. Founding members can join for $29 a month, and that price stays yours for as long as you remain an active member. But founding member enrollment, it ends this week. It ends August 31st. So now is the time. If you've been thinking about joining, this is the week to do it. You'll find all the details in the link in the show notes to join and how to go about doing that and all of that. So you'll find it there in the show notes. And next week, we are turning the page into a brand new month and a brand new conversation here on the podcast. And I'm really excited about it. We're going to be talking about health. Yep, we're going to talk about health and what it means to care for these bodies that God gave us and to live healthy, whole, and well. And I am thrilled about it. I think it's time to just address some things, have some good conversations about health. And so I invite you to come back next week and join in all of that. It's going to be an uplifting, encouraging conversation. And so I invite you to come back next Tuesday, bright and early. And I just appreciate you so much. Thank you for being here, joining Libby and me today. And I invite you just to keep drawing near to Jesus. Keep saying yes to the life that he's giving you. Keep showing up for yourself and for others. And I will meet you right back here next week. God bless you. Thank you so much for joining me here today. You can find more at julielefebvre.com. And until next time, stay encouraged.